Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Future of Retirement. I'm glad you're here today. I'm going to talk about something really important, digital wills. I know, what is that, right? Do you have a will? If not, then this could be just for you. And if you have a lot of things online, like bank accounts, emails, all that, this is really for you. Here's a number that genuinely surprised me. According to new data released just this week by LegalZoom, only about 24% of Americans have a will. That's the lowest rate since they started tracking these quite a few years ago. More than half of Americans, 56%, have no estate planning whatsoever. Now, I think most of us hear a stat like that and just picture someone who just forgotten or hasn't gotten around to it. But here's what nobody talks about. Even among the people that do have a will, I guess most of them are missing something that didn't exist when traditional estate planning was invented. I'm talking about a digital life, your email, your social media, your online banking, your crypto if you have any, and your photo library with decades of family memories stored in the cloud. Those are all very important. If something happened to you tomorrow, would anyone be able to access this? Probably not. And I think it's a much bigger problem than most people even realize. Today I want to walk you through exactly why a digital will matters, and more importantly, what you can do about it right now. So let's start with a simple definition. A digital will is sometimes called a digital estate plan, is a document that lists your online accounts, your digital assets, and instructions for what should happen to them after you're gone. Here's the key distinction. Your traditional will covers physical property, your house, car, investments. But when your executor shows up at Google or Apple or Facebook with that document, those companies generally won't honor it. Most platforms have their own policies. Facebook lets families memorialize or remove an account if they want. Google has an inactive account manager that you can set up, and Apple just introduced a legacy account contact feature. But here's the catch. If you haven't set these things up in advance, your family is walking into a locked room with no key. I think the simplest way to put it is your traditional will tells people what you own. A digital will tells them how to find it and what to do with it. The first and most practical reason you need a digital will is access, pure and simple. Think about your own life for a second. How many passwords do you have? 20, 50, 100 or more? Now imagine your spouse or your adult child trying to figure out which utility company you used, your credit cards, which investment accounts hold your retirement savings, all without a single password. I read a post on Reddit recently where someone whose father passed unexpectedly. He ran a consulting business, and this man's wife of 40 years, didn't know the passwords to a single one of his accounts, not his email, his bank, or his business logins. That's not unusual. I think it actually is probably the norm. And every day these accounts sit locked, bills go unpaid, subscriptions drain bank accounts, and important information stays trapped behind a login screen. A digital will can solve this, not by listing every password. You should never put actual passwords in a will, since wills become public record, but by pointing your executor to a secure password manager and giving them the master access they need. Second reason is one I think catches a lot of retirees off guard, and it's simply that your financial life has moved online. Everything's online these days. 20 years ago, your executor could walk into your local bank branch with a death certificate and just get access. Today, a lot of people haven't stepped inside a bank for years. Your checking account, savings, IRA, brokerage account, they exist as ones and zeros on a server somewhere. And the problem gets even trickier with newer types of assets. If you own crypto, there is no bank to call. There's no customer service number. If nobody has your private keys, those assets are gone forever. Not frozen, they're just gone. An estimated $1 billion in crypto has already been lost this way. But even beyond crypto, think about the less obvious financial accounts, your PayPal, Venmo, any freelance platforms that you might earn through, online businesses, domain names that you might own, even airline miles and hotel points. They can be worth thousands. A digital will catalogs all of this so nothing slips through the cracks. Now let's move past the finance piece for a moment, because I think reason number 3 is the one that actually matters the most to a lot of people. Your digital legacy isn't just about money, it's about memories too. It's about the thousands of photos sitting in your Google Photo or iCloud. It's also about your email account you've had probably since 1998 with correspondence you might want your kids to see someday. It's about family videos, voice memos, documents that you've written. I've seen families spend months trying to recover loved ones' photos after they passed, and sometimes they fail. These memories are gone forever. You might be thinking, well, they know my phone passcode. But what happens when your phone breaks, or when the cloud storage stops getting paid for, or when two-factor authentication kicks in, sends a code to a phone number that no longer exists? A digital will gives you the chance to decide what happens to all those memories, who gets access, what gets preserved, and what gets deleted. It's actually a gift to the people you leave behind. Another reason is identity theft. Identity theft is something most people don't think about very much. Honestly, I hadn't either till I started researching this topic. When someone passes away, their digital presence doesn't automatically shut down. Social media profiles stay active. Email accounts keep receiving messages. And in the wrong hands, these dormant accounts become a goldmine for identity thieves. The AARP has actually flagged this as a growing problem. Fraudsters monitor obituaries and go looking for an active online account tied to the deceased. They can open a new credit line, file a fake tax return, even steal your benefits, sometimes for months before anyone even notices. A digital will addresses this by giving clear instructions which accounts should be memorialized, which should be deleted, and who's responsible for doing it within days. So at this point, you might be feeling a little overwhelmed, and I get it, but here's the good news. This is the reason creating a digital will is actually much simpler than you probably think. You don't need a lawyer. You don't need to spend hundreds of dollars. In most cases, you don't even need a separate legal document. What you need is a plan. It comes down to just a few steps. Make a list of every online account you have, and I mean every single one. Email, social media, banking, investments, utilities, everything. Second, choose a password manager if you don't already have one. Something like 1Password, which is what I use, Bitwarden, or Apple's built-in password app. And make sure your executor or trusted family member knows how to access it. Third, use each platform built-in legacy tools where they exist. Google's Inactive Account Manager, or Apple's Legacy Contact, Facebook's memorialization settings, and fourth, write down your wishes in a simple document, store it somewhere where your family can find it. That's it. That's the foundation. It's maybe an afternoon of work, and the peace of mind is enormous. Let me get a little more specific because I think that's helpful. Here's what should be in your digital will. A complete list of online accounts with usernames but no password. Instructions for accessing your password manager. Your wishes for each social media account. Information about any online businesses or revenue streams. Cryptocurrency wallet details and where to find your private keys. Instructions for your email accounts and cloud storage, especially the photos. And finally, the name of the person you want to handle all of this. This person doesn't have to be the same as your traditional executor. In fact, I think it's probably better if it's not. Pick someone you're comfortable with technology. someone who can navigate this stuff without getting overwhelmed. Now let's talk about the timing. August is National Make a Will Month, so there's never been a better time to get this done, and very soon, right? If you don't have a traditional will, start there. If you do, add the digital piece to it. The LegalZoom data I mentioned at the top, 56% of Americans have no will at all. That's not just a statistic. That's millions of families who will face unnecessary chaos at the worst possible moment. So let's put it all together. A digital will protects your family from being locked out of your accounts. It ensures your financial assets aren't lost in the digital void and preserves your memories and your legacy. It prevents identity theft after you're gone. And it's a genuine simple to create. It's an afternoon of work for a lifetime of peace of mind. I think the bottom line is this: retirement planning has really changed. It used to be about pensions and Social Security. Now it includes things our parents never had to think about: digital assets, online accounts, cloud storage. The tools are different, but the principle's the same. Plan ahead, and the people you love don't have to figure it out alone. I'd love to hear from you about this topic. Have you thought about a digital will? Have you already set one up maybe? What made you decide to do so? Share your experience. Your story could genuinely help someone else in this situation. Until next time, take care, stay curious, and keep planning for the future. Bye now.